Welcome into Mavericks. Today, I am Will Scott. The NBA draft is less than a week away, and on today's show, we're going to take a look at 5 potential draft targets for the Mavs if, and that's a really big if, they keep that pick at number 10 overall. We're trying to reach 23,000 subscribers. Can we do it by next week's NBA draft? Need about 300 more, actually less than 300, 270 more subscribers to get there. If you're all about the Mavs, hit that sub button below. We're going to have you covered during the draft. We're going to have you covered during free agency. We're going to have you covered during the entire offseason. So make sure you subscribe. Also, turn on your notifications because if you have your noties turned on, you are going to get an alert on your phone whenever we go live, whenever we put out a video. So it's the best way to stay in the loop with our channel and with your Dallas Mavericks. Number 1 on my list here, not a surprise, Taylor Hendricks. You're not going to find a bigger Taylor Hendricks fan than yours truly. He is my top option at number 10, and most mock drafts I've seen have him going to Dallas at 10. But his stock is rising. Some people think it might be a dark horse to be a top 5 pick. That is wild. Here's why he's a dark horse to be a top 5 pick, because he can do it all. He can score. He can get boards. He can block shots, and he can shoot the 3. And you know what? To be a really productive player in the NBA nowadays, you got to be able to shoot. I don't care what position you play. This guy can play the 4 and the 5, and he's lights out from 3. Nearly 40% from 3 at UCF this past year. And what I like about Hendricks is this guy wasn't expected to be a one and done. He was a 4-star recruit, didn't have a whole lot of big-time offers. He goes to UCF. He balls out there. This guy's going to be a top 10 pick. Kevin O'Connor said this about Taylor Hendricks. The Mavericks are by far the NBA's biggest disappointment, especially just 1 year removed from making the Western Conference Finals. After losing Jalen Brunson for nothing, then trading core pieces from last year's playoff squad for Kyrie Irving, this team is in a worse place now, far worse place, with a terrible defense and an unimaginative offense. Moving up in the lottery could be the key to bolstering the roster, but if they stay put and keep this pick, then drafting someone who can help aid their defense is the priority. Hendricks could come in right away and provide a versatility that no one else on the roster does. Will the Mavs draft Taylor Hendricks? Type D for draft or type P for pass. Down in the comments section, go down and let me know. If he's on the board, which is a big if at this point because his stock has certainly been rising, then they got to draft him. If they pass on Taylor Hendricks, man, if they keep that pick, Mavericks fans would be in shambles. I'm in Dallas. I can promise you Mavericks fans would not be happy if they pass on Taylor Hendricks. Obviously, it depends on who they take. If they take a guy like Grady Dick, I'm sure Mavs fans would be happy about that as well. But I can promise you that Taylor Hendricks is the best fit. Makes the most sense for the Mavs if they keep the pick at number 10. We'll get into number 2 here. That's Bilal Coulibaly, the player with the Metropolitans over in France, Victor Wembanyama's teammate. And because all eyes have been on Wemby, people are starting to see Coulibaly and his potential. He is the fastest riser in the NBA draft. There's no question. I remember just a few weeks ago, this guy was going late first in mock drafts. I'm seeing a lot of mock drafts right now have him being a lottery pick. Here's what Kevin O'Connor said about Coulibaly. Explosive at-rim finisher who takes long strides to the basket and needs little space to elevate for loud dunks. He's best as a straight-line driver and displays skill using an occasional change of pace move or Euro steps. Plays within himself by keeping the ball moving and looking for cutting opportunities. A creative NBA offense could take advantage of his athleticism by using him as a screener to get him going to the basket. Now, the Metropolitans, they're still playing in the French League Finals, so if you want to watch Coulibaly, you can still have a chance to do that. Him and Wemby still in action. I think a lot of people have started to hear the name Coulibaly because he's been balling out here in the French League playoffs. He's number 2. Let's get to number 3 now. That is Anthony Black, the guard from the University of Arkansas. Fascinating prospect here. I could see him going top 10. I could see him falling a little bit, but he's certainly a great player. The defensive upside really intrigues me. He's one of the best defensive players, maybe even the best defensive player in this draft. The offensive production, or lack thereof, a little bit concerning. 12.8 points per game this past season at Arkansas. He just shot 30% from three-point range. Has got to work on that three-point shot, but the upside is there when you're talking about Anthony Black. Kevin O'Connor said this, Selfless playmaker who can whip the ball up court in transition and sees plays develop early in the half court, much like Lonzo Ball, and I like that comp a lot. He can serve as a connector. He tends to make the smart play, creating easy shots for teammates, often using touch passes or swing passes to open shooters. Now, how would he fit alongside Kyrie Irving, assuming he comes back, and Luka Doncic? Not sure. Maybe he'd come off the bench. Maybe he'd start. That's another question I would have when you're talking about drafting Anthony Black. Grade him as a player. Scale at 1 to 100. We'll go a little 2K style here. It's hard for me to say. I'd have him somewhere in the low 70s. I think this guy can be really good. Again, the defense is really good. He would rank 90s in terms of defense for me. Not so much offense. That's something he's got to work on, but it's something that he might improve on throughout his time in the league. Number 4 on our list, that is Cason Wallace, the guard from the University of Kentucky. 11.7 points per game last season with the Cats. 4.3 assists per game. Good ball distributor, also really good defensively. And I think the Mavs got to go defense here at number 10. 2 steals per game. That's awesome. 44.6 field goal percentage. He's a Dallas native. Just going to throw that out there. Are you bringing him home? We'll see. With big upside, not sure if he fits into the Mavs' plans. I think they'd look at Hendricks more. I think they'd look at a guy like Anthony Black more. But Cason Wallace, certainly a name to watch here at number 10 overall. And we'll get into our last prospect now. That is Dereck Lively II, the center from Duke. You want to talk about defense? I think his defense certainly there, but he underachieved as an offensive playmaker for the Duke Blue Devils last year. I think they'd love to get Lively, but it's too early to draft him. Maybe trading back would make a little bit more sense. Taking Lively over Taylor Hendricks, over Coulibaly, not sure if I like that, but they have lacked a true center since Tyson Chandler in 2014. They thought they were getting that in Christian Wood. They didn't. It didn't work out. Maybe Dereck Lively could make a lot of sense. Again, the defense is there. 5.4 rebounds per game, 2.4 blocks per game, but just 5.2 points per game last year at Duke. But you know what? That's okay because you need defense. You really need defense. The Mavs had one of the worst defense in the league, especially after the trade deadline. Pick one player to draft. Type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 for Hendricks, 2 for Coulibaly, 3 for Anthony Black, 4 for Cason Wallace, or 5 for Dereck Lively II.